Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I am here this all-important and powerful Monday morning with my husband, Mordechai Ballas. And we are here to share with you the secrets to awakening the soul, spiritual rebirth, rejuvenation, and renewal. And every week on the Weekly Energy Boost, we provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do so by gleaning through the wisdom of Kabbalah and picking the most powerful and practical tools to help you take advantage of the week's opportunities and prepare for the potential pitfalls. And in doing so, we share timeless wisdom and tools for whenever, wherever. And I want to give today's conversation a little bit of context in a kabbalistic sense, and then I will turn the microphone over. But today, if you're listening on Monday, today is what's called the day of creation, or the first day of creation. And what that means is that, kabbalistically speaking, this Friday night, we've been talking about this for weeks, right? The Friday night, September 15th, through Sunday night, September 17th, is the birth of humanity. It's known traditionally as Rosh Hashanah, which means the head of the year. But Kabbalah teaches that it's really Saturday, Friday night and Saturday, is the day that humanity was created. It's the 6th day of creation. So if you count back, if Saturday is the 6th day of creation, you count back, today is the first day of creation. And even though Kabbalah teaches that those days were not 7 24-hour periods, what we're connecting to is the seed of seeds, is the origin of origins. It's really the essence of, I think, everything that we're all trying to capture in our own lives, which is the return to our original purpose, to our deepest desires, to the fulfillment of all of our wishes. And that process, even though it began on the first day of the month of Virgo, today, which is the 25th day of the month of Virgo, we are entering an acceleration period that lasts till the 10th day of Libra. And so in doing this week's episode, we're really trying, our goal, if we're successful, is to set up our listeners and whoever our listeners will share this episode with the mindset and the understanding and the most importantly, the desire to take advantage of the opportunity to start fresh, to wipe the slate clean, to detach, and even, I hate to use such harsh language, but to literally cut off our connections to anything from the past and really allow ourselves to begin anew. And so that's really what this week is about. That's what today's episode is about. And hopefully this is also the beginning of a conversation that will last into the next few weeks about how we can use these unique energies that come every time of year, this time of year, that help us to do this. And this is, again, an expression of something that the universe does that I wish all of us could be better at, including myself, is to give another chance, to wake up in the morning and realize it's a new day and I can do anything I want in whatever way I want, regardless of anything that's happened in the past. So I think that's where we're going to start.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to start by saying that I'm very thankful, and I want to thank the Creator for giving me the opportunity to be here with you today and to share this quality time together.
And just having a conversation and inviting the entire world to listen in.
Exactly. And to have fun.
And to have fun.
Right?
Course.
Life is about having fun. So I think it starts with the understanding that if you look, let's say, at computers, right? We invented computers, not me specifically, but some other people in the past. And one of the things we see about computers, which are a result of also our system, is that every once in a while, and I'm the type of person that doesn't really reboot the computer unless I really have to, the computer just accumulates so much. There's so much overload on the system that there has to be a reboot. So the week, especially the energy of today, if you're listening to this today, which is the first day of creation, and throughout the whole week, offers to us, it's not a matter of a choice, it's happening anyway, and of course the more you are aware of it, the more you're going to benefit from it. A reboot. So I think it starts with the understanding that we're done with the buffering, meaning like there's so much already in the system. I mean, it's just crazy how much we absorb throughout the day, and multiplied by 358, let's say, days, 355 days, 350 days, and you get a big time feeling, whether you're aware of it or not, in the level of the soul, it's feeling overwhelmed. So, yes, it is healthy to regulate those reboots, if it's possible, of course, more consciously. But this week offers to us the energy of the reboot, of the regulation, to begin with, as a default state, as a way of protection, as a way of regeneration. Because, and by the way, it's similar to every time that we go to sleep. We have to go to sleep, because if we don't, and this is already known scientifically, that while we are asleep, our mind, our brain, is cleansing all that was accumulated. And some of this is stored in a different place, but all that was accumulated is being cleansed. That's why also when someone comes to this life, a baby is born, has to be a process of cleansing, of rebooting whatever was there in the previous lifetimes. Otherwise, we won't be able to continue. So it feels right to focus today more on how can we proactively initiate those reboots. Of course, this week offers to us the default reboot, which is the more we are aware of it, the more we are conscious of it, the more we're going to receive from it. But it starts with the understanding that I owe it to myself. If I want to reveal the light that I'm meant to be revealing, and this is why the Kabbalistic New Year offers to us the opportunity to receive a new soul. I mean, some of us might be holding on to our old soul, like, I don't want a new soul, like, I prefer to stay with what I know, with what I have. But it's really to understand that this opportunity that we have this week, which is the peak, is Friday night, it's not even a choice. I have to get to this place that I understand that A, I need this reboot, and B, I need this new soul if I really want to reveal the light that I'm meant to reveal.
Okay, but when you say new soul, you don't literally mean today I have the soul of one person, and then on Saturday I'm going to get the soul of someone else. What does it mean when we say new soul?
So this is something I learned from our teachers, from Rav and Karen Berg. And it might be, I might be throwing here like a bomb, but I learned from my teachers that every time someone goes through a near-death experience, meaning they went to the other side and they came back, it's never the same soul that comes again to the body. Meaning that it almost sounds like science fiction, but the soul that elevated out of the body has completed to a certain degree what it came to do. And then another soul is continuing from the same place that soul left. And some of the memories and some of the experiences are being copied to that consciousness. In a similar way, this is what happens to us this coming Friday night. We are undergoing a spiritual procedure. The Kabbalists talk about it as if we are going to sleep. The Ari Ravai Zakluya talks about it. It's a spiritual sleep. Anesthesia more.
But which you won't experience on a conscious level.
Yes, you might feel a bit disoriented.
Okay. But it's not like it's painful or
No,
it's
not
difficult.
painful.
If you're, even for those of us that are aware of it, we don't perceive it fully.
Yeah, it might be like a bit challenging to be present, like fully present, but this is happening. It's a system that is in the motion of moving forward and upgrading ourselves. It's like sometimes the phone is forcing you to upgrade to the new version. You cannot continue with the old version. This is what happens every year. Every year we get an opportunity to reveal completely the light that we meant to reveal, and the contract is for 365 days. So I'm not saying that we failed, but this is designed in a way it's always moving forward. The soul that you're going to get is always the next level of soul. And first of all, it's of course to be excited about it, but it's really to come to the understanding that maybe I need to learn also how to create this reboot proactively, and to desire the next level, to desire the upgrade. I know that some people are, especially when Mercury is in retrograde, they are less open to upgrade their phone, get a new device, or download.
The other thing is that Mercury goes direct, I think, on the 15th as well. It's very exciting.
Yeah, well, we're still in retrograde, right? So some people are not they're not open or not excited, not thrilled to transform, to go to the next level, to change. Like our teacher Rav Berg says, when do usually people change? People don't like to change. When do usually we change? When the pain of not changing is bigger than the pain of changing. That's when usually we get like this push that takes us to the next level. But if we learn, first of all, to understand that sometimes we need to reboot, to appreciate the reboot, because the reboot creates rejuvenation. The reboot creates a new beginning. We know that sometimes kabbalistically, even if it's not something that it's not a subject that we necessarily touch quite often, sometimes certain people leave the physical world. Sometimes it's sudden, sometimes it's after sickness. And when you look at the big picture, sometimes you might be able to say, maybe they're now transitioning to a new baby. Maybe they maybe they finished what they came to do in that body, and they need to go now on another mission. So and by the way, this is true also every time that we go to sleep. If we start to connect more and more to that consciousness, that we welcome the rejuvenation, that we welcome to the reboot, that we welcome moving our cheese, right? Our old cheese.
It's a reference to a book called Who Moved My Cheese that came out probably about 20 years ago for those of you
probably
that are not
more, huh?
Something like that. Anyway, Google
Spencer
it.
Johnson.
It's a very clever book and very enlightening.
So if we welcome that transformation, we welcome that change, we welcome that rejuvenation, we're going to benefit so much more of it. And as a result, we're going to proactively pursue, first of all, the awareness. At certain times, it's time for me to reboot. Not to hold on, and then to initiate it.
I had a revelation a number of years ago about this time period, specifically the month of Virgo, and we've been talking about it. But if you were listening, you heard us say words like reboot, renew, rejuvenate. What are some other words? Repentance, restart, renovate. All
rewind.
Of the words.
Oh, there was
rewind,
a rewind.
So, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, we learn that every month, when the world was created, and again, it's not a coincidence, we're talking about creation today. When the world was created, the Creator used the Hebrew or Aramaic letters to create the world in different combinations and different sequences, in the same way that human beings, or DNA for that matter, in general, is built on 4 amino acids, right? 4 letters is how we refer to them, the A, T, C, and G. The whole world was built on these 22 letters. And
she knows so much.
The two letters that created the month of Virgo are Resh and Yud, which when you say them out loud, they sound like Re. Right. So it's very interesting to think of this month as the month of Re. You can redo, you can reboot, you can restart, you can renovate. And the goal is, and this is talking about that spiritual surgery or procedure that takes place this weekend, the simplest way I can define the work of this week is to suggest that everyone who's listening, take out a piece of paper. And I know I'm big on writing and making lists. If you've been listening for any period of time, you write down all of the things, all of the parts of yourself that you would like to transform, that you would like to either improve, meaning anything that you would say is on the negative side of the paper. So whether it's control issues, insecurities, laziness, guilt, fear, worries, being intimidated by certain people, being controlled by what people think of me, anything that you can think of that stands in your way. And when you make that list, don't talk about the government or the infrastructure of the road system in your think about the things that are within your 80 inches, within your space, that you can transform. Because what ends up happening, that spiritual procedure that takes place this weekend allows us to take everything that is of a negative nature and convert it.
And not only detoxing from those energies that don't serve us, but also building. So building means how can I love myself more? How can I accept myself more? How can I see more of my self-worth, self-value? Because once you detox, now it's time to build. So it's not enough just to do the reboot, it's also to come to this Friday night with the energy prepared of what do I want, what seeds do I want to plant for this coming year.
Well, so my suggestion was going to be that this week you make this list, you do the inventory of, if you had your druthers, what would you make of your life, of your gifts and talents and abilities? What's preventing you? What's standing in your way from being able to do all the amazing things you can do? Personally, again, not if I had more money, not if I wasn't raised in this country or anything else like that. Anything that's within you that you can convert into something more positive. And then once the sun sets on Friday night, you put that piece of paper away and you focus on what you do want. So it's really two phases of work for this week to really capture all of the blessing and the benefit is to focus. It sounds funny even as a Kabbalah teacher to say it, but to focus on the negative, to focus on not from a place of beating yourself up, of how could this be? I'm so terrible. It's actually the opposite. It ends up being like a scavenger hunt. Like the more you find, the more you can remove or transform. So the goal is to come up with as long and as specific of a list as possible. And then on Friday night to switch modes into what do I want? I want the self-love, the self-worth, the prosperity, the soulmate, the health and well-being. I want the balance. I want the confidence. Do not limit. That's the funny thing is that when we make the list of the negative, we give it almost a finite spin, right? This is my list. And of course we say anything I didn't see or anything I forgot or anything I didn't recognize. Of course, the universe knows better than we do what we can transform. But then we focus on opening the floodgates and letting in, inviting all of the blessings that we can, because that's really what's available to us beginning Friday night. It closes somewhat for the week, and then it reopens again on Sunday night, which we'll talk about.
I call it like what happens on Friday night. I call it Aquarius mode. Until Friday night this week, yes, you search, you look, but once Friday night begins, Aquarius mode.
What is Aquarius mode for
happiness, love, everything is fluffy.
Peace, love, and understanding.
Yes, everything is big, everything is positive. We don't deal with the negative. We just focus on the positive. You come in to prove your case that you deserve to get the best upgrade. And I would say also in the next 5 days, another thing that it can be really good to focus on, that we can leave you with this thought, is appreciation. Appreciation and gratitude and awe for the Creator. The Creator, I'm going to cry. The Creator really loves us so much that He has given us this system, this design, that everyone is going through this, whether they are aware of it or not. Even if they are not into spirituality, they still going to go through this. But the Creator loves us so much that He designed this system that we will always get another chance. Another chance. And now we have no idea how this year is going to be like. It's really the unknown. But the Creator loves us so much that we also get to be not only the co-directors of our movie, but He's giving us the tools and the power to really write our own script, to be part of writing our own script. So it's really like to take the time during those 5 days that we have left of this year to pause throughout the day, even if it means that you need to go to nature or shut down your cell phone for a little bit, and just listen to your breathing, or even put some really nice music that inspires you, and just inject that awe, inject that appreciation to the Creator, that He loves us so much, that He gave us the tools and the opportunity. He's the best parent, right? The parent of our soul. The tools and the opportunity to make it the best, to have the most successful year. And success means doing what you came here to do.
And I think that it's important to remind everyone that the human tendency to be hard on ourselves is not something that exists in the universe. Mm-hmm. That, meaning human beings may be harsh, right? We look at people and we say, he got what he deserved, right? We tend to judge people harshly. And it's important to point out that the universe doesn't work like that, that the Creator judges mercifully and gives us the benefit of the doubt and gives us, every morning is another chance to restart. And this weekend is the great restart. This weekend, I want to bring it up only because I know that there's people out there that feel that what they've done or who they've been is irreparable. That the damage or the wrong, the evil that has been committed is, there's no coming back from it. And part of what we learn in these weeks is that there is nothing that, if a person awakens to the fact that they've done something negative. And this is sort of the metaphysics behind what's happening as we go through the process this week and next, and the week after for that matter, is that whatever we figure out, let's say you realize that at some point during the year you were unfair or impatient or angry, or you did something negatively to someone else. The moment you realize it and you feel the pain that you caused and you feel the regret of having been insensitive, unconscious, whatever it is, at that moment, what you did, the darkness that you revealed in that second of impatience or anger becomes light because you're growing from it. And that's something that as many times as you hear it in spiritual teachings, it's so hard to swallow. We just don't think that it works that way. But that's really the essence of, part of the reason we have selfishness in this physical reality is so that we can convert it. And it's the conversion of selfishness to selflessness that reveals the most light.
Yeah, sometimes those things are really counterintuitive. Like, this is the month that you get to be shown, if you're open, the negativity, the things that you want to transform. And the counterintuitive part is that many of us might think, let's say if we're looking at our relationship with the Creator as a relationship with the parent and a child, that if I've done something wrong or if I was a bad kid, then my parent doesn't love me like before. And it's actually, this month is the month that the Creator is the closest to us. While we are searching for our negativity, the energy that doesn't serve us, to transform it, this is actually the time the Creator is closer to us. So it's really an opportunity. And by the way, throughout the year, you can find ways to reboot. You can go to nature. You can take a pause in the middle of the day. You can do a meditation. You can do a spiritual immersion in water, also known in Kabbalah as mikveh. There's different ways that you can reboot. But this week and this month in general, and the peak, which is this Friday night, is really one of the ultimate of rebooting, of rejuvenation. And we know it scientifically, right? That the body, also the cells, constantly cells are dying, new cells are being born. We're literally physically not the same individual. It's not the same suit that we are wearing. Even though it might look pretty much the same, it's not the same suit. We are anew. In a similar way, just as it happens in a physical way, it also happens in a metaphysical way. It happens also to our soul.
And not only that, but the process of, I don't know if the word is surrendering, or there comes a moment when you look at that list that you think, there is no way I can fix this. Like, I have been this person, or how can it happens to me. I'm not going to say it happened to me once. It happens to me that when you identify the way that you get in your own way, and it's on a thought level. So it's not, you can say, well, if you bite your nails, you can put that nail polish on your nails that will be bitter, or there's different things that you can do to control certain compulsions.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible to change the way you think. I think that's the hardest thing to change. And so there comes a moment where you look at that list, or you realize how serious your issue is with judgment or controlling or fear, whatever it is. And you think, I can't do this myself. I need the light.
This is so important, because I remember the analogy, I think it was Michael Berg that shared this analogy, that the most important person comes to visit you at your home, but with 5-minute notice. And those 5 minutes, you try to fix the house that it will look clean. But at a certain moment, when you hear the knock on the door, you know the house is not going to be clean for this most important person. And we get to meet the energy of the Creator on this Friday night, and the peak is going to be even further on with the energy of the 10 days that after that. But the bottom line is to get to this place before you open the door. I know that I won't be able to clean this on my own. And therefore, the surrender, it's really humbling. I ask people, are you ready for the new year? And sometimes people say yes, sometimes people say no. And the answer that I like to give is, I'm never going to be ready. Never. And that's the moment, the moment that this month is over and the new year begins. That moment is the moment of feeling humbled. Right. That there's no way that I can do it by myself. And I just, not that I give up, but I raise my hands and I
Well, that's why I said surrender.
Yeah, surrender.
You did everything you could, and now all you can do is let go and let the light in.
And you know you cannot do it without the light of the Creator.
Right. That's for sure. And I will put the, or before I say that, that's one of the reasons why we make sure to be together. Physically, we have an event that we do in New York, or doesn't always have to be in New York, but this year it happens to be in New York. But if you'd like
and
to...
also last year and the year before.
And the year before. Okay. It was once in...
Happens to be.
It was in California a few times too.
We never stop hoping.
And DC and Texas. It's been around the world, just not recently. I mean, around the States.
One day.
But to that point, we get together because we know we can't do it alone. And the power of our prayers and meditations and mindset consciousness together makes it so much more, I want to say, easier for us as individuals, but also powerful as a group, because we're not only doing this for ourselves. Every person that does that has the ability to affect the world, does affect the world with every change that we do. So I will make sure that the link, if you want to stream with us, the link will be in the show notes, as well as on our webpage, weeklyenergyboost.com. You can stream the entire event with us live, as well as the different events around the world. If you speak, I don't know, for example, Spanish, you can stream with the center in Mexico. But this is really a time where you want to be in tune and at a frequency with others to support you. So even if you can't be there in person, we want to invite you to stream with us. I wanted to end today's episode with a few words from our teacher, Karen Berg, who spoke about exactly the work of this week in a very precise and succinct way. And then we'll send you off into the world. So Karen wrote a number of years ago, a beautiful article that's on our website. I'm just going to read the last paragraph. The light is giving, the light is merciful. Oh, I'm sorry. The first line is actually... In other words, what is being asked of us now, which is the week before Rosh Hashanah, Karen wrote this, what is being asked of us now is to be like the light. The light is giving, the light is merciful, the light is kind, the light sees the perfection that exists in us, and thus the light believes we are capable. The light is encouraging, the light is selfless, the light is unconditional. The light, in a word, is love. It is said that after a month of looking at our negativity, all those dark places within ourselves that we would like to change, we should arrive at Rosh Hashanah as though we are a completely different person, a new person. It is our birthday. We are born anew. Let's rejoice during these days. Be happy at this time. See only good. Be like the light. The Kabbalists teach that if there is a decree of judgment in the cosmic that is meant for a person, God forbid, and this same person, when given the opportunity, refuses to judge somebody else, then the decree meant for this individual will be removed. In these coming days, please refrain from judging anyone or anything for any reason. Let's instead focus on what is right and well and whole. Let's ask what we can give rather than take. Let us behave like the light, and by doing so, plant the best possible seed for our new year and remove any judgment that is to be decreed for ourselves and the rest of the world. And in this way, maybe, just maybe, we might merit to see the Messiah in our time.
A song that comes to my heart now is Return to Innocence by Enigma. Just a recommendation to listen throughout the week.
Okay. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also visit our website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where we'll have the link to stream this weekend with us, as well as all the other things we think are interesting for our listeners to know about. You can also click the donate button and help make this podcast possible. But perhaps the most important thing you can do this week is to share this episode. The more people that are doing this work, the better the world will be for it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for you.
Thank you. Thank me. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.